Real.
And okay. Okay, Anna, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself? And we look forward to your presentation.
Excellent. Well, hello everyone. My name is Anna Prisacari, and I'm a recent graduate from Iowa State. I got my PhD in HCI from Iowa State, but also got my master's along the way. My journey is kind of long. I've been in school for way too long, probably. But now I'm in industry and startup. It's an exciting startup that it's very young. It's about 3 years old. So, but I also stay very active in research. I do something like this with other universities. I've been invited to give talks in Minneapolis, where I'm based and I'm living now. But also I'm a visiting scholar still at Iowa State. So I kind of have a little bit still activity in academic research environment, but also I am learning a lot about startups and business aspect of technology companies, and I would be excited to hear your questions either on research side or industry side, or the transition or the bridge between the two, how I'm using anything in those both environments. Also, I don't want to take too much time from you guys talking more about me, who I am. But if you are interested, I do stay very active on social media. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I always welcome new connections. So that is, don't feel shy. Please send me a message and request to connect. But also that's where you'll see what I've been up to, where I come from, my background, my company, and also on the rest of social media, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, I'm there. So pretty much if you have interest to learn more about what I do, my company does, or just follow me, what I'm doing around, feel free to connect and reach out to me. I try to respond to emails as fast as I can. Sometimes it might be a few hour delays, so apologies up front. But I do like to engage with other people, especially with the ones that I don't have daily face-to-face interaction. And you guys are not probably in Minneapolis, but if you do end up being in Minneapolis for a day or you're moving here, let me know. I would love to show you around. It's a wonderful place, although it's pretty cold in the winter. So a little bit about my company. I am doing UX/marketing. I take the products that the company designs, and I'm very actively involved in the design of the app interfaces, websites. Then I take it to the users or clients, and we test it out. Then I bring it back to the developers with the list of changes that to make product better, and then they make changes, and then I go and test it again. So it's a continuous product development / improvement. That is my job. But then the other aspects that I'm involved is marketing. So I take what I'm learning from users to understand how we can promote the product so people can learn about the product and engage using the product. One of our most recent apps that we've put out there, it's called Room Remix, and I believe you guys were informed how to find the app. It's in the App Store. It's only on for iPhones right now, but it's free. Anyone is welcome to download. We've been doing pretty well. We launched the app on June 1st, so it's been a little over 3 months, and we're approaching 11,000 downloads. To kind of give you some numbers, this is pretty amazing for the startup of our size and for the app so new to have a lot of downloads. And what we're using, our specialty is augmented reality. I don't know how closely you follow news. Live AR or AR Kit is coming very, very soon, sometime within the next week or two. So we are very busy getting ready our products that would incorporate live AR features with our products. So what I would like to do next would be kind of hoping to get either questions from you or comments or suggestions since you are in the UX area or you're learning about UX, I would be very curious to hear your comments or questions you might have about the app. Hopefully you've tried it. If not, you can download it as I'm talking right now. And from UX perspective, how would you make this app better? What would you change and why? And I am more interested in depth kind of comments instead of like, I don't like your colors, but I don't like your colors because those are not going well together if you are doing the following design, or the location of a specific icon is hard to find, or I don't understand the functionality of a specific icon. So something that is a little bit more in depth for us, that I can take and understand why something you love or you like, or why something is confusing to you or is not well designed. I do recognize it's a young app, so there's a lot of work to be done. And I want to hear your comments about the current app that is available. And then after that, I would like to share my screen so you guys can see we are finalizing the interface for the next version of Room Remix, which we will be launching in about a week or two when Apple releases Live AR. So when Apple releases, we'll release our app because it will incorporate those new features from Apple. And I would like then to see how we can take what we have now and compare to what we are about to release to public and see pros and cons. Do you see a big improvement between what we have now to what we're about to launch? Do you have more comments? Do you have more suggestions? Is something that you think we are on the right track on with the new design versus the old design? Do you, how would you recommend us to make this transition even better? So that is kind of the overall goal that I thought would be great of more UX in practice. That you get a real product, but then we have more UX-focused conversation about that app. And after that, I will be happy to take questions that you might have outside my app or on the company or on my background or anything that might be of interest and value to you. So with that, I don't know if anyone is ready to start, kind of jump in and tell me what do you think of the current app, or type and I'll try to listen and read at the same time.
Okay. Okay, so would somebody like to start? Questions on the app or comments? Let me see. Have you guys downloaded? Did you have the chance to download the app? I'm not sure if they did or not. I sent it out, but.
Okay. I see Paul has a question, I'm assuming.
Okay, Paul, great.
I don't know if Paul will be typing or.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, go ahead and type, Paul, if that works for you. Let's see, maybe I should.
That's a great question, Paul.
Yeah.
So Paul is asking about what happens for those people who don't have an iPhone and they might be interested in our app. So I'll give you two parts. My answer will have two parts. The intention, yes, we do intend to release the app. That would be for Androids as well. The second part why we haven't done it yet is the Live AR features will be available for iPhones, and since it's such a hot term or buzzword that we want to build our reputation on and show our expertise, that we've been really focused on iPhone platform for the last several months at least. When we get the iPhone rolling, then we'll figure it out what we can do for Androids. But it's not up to us right now whether Live AR will be available for Android phone. But what we can do is what Room Remix currently does. You take a picture and then you place digital items inside that picture, and you'll be able to move them around. So that feature would still be available for Androids, but for iPhones, the new feature, in addition to taking pictures, would be placing digital items live. So you don't need to take a picture. You can look at your corner of your room that is empty, and you place an item on your phone. So that's like the Live AR. But that feature would be available on iPhones only. We currently don't know if Android is planning to release something like this for Android platform, or if yes, then how fast will they be able to get that? So that's kind of like a very long answer. So yes, we're working on Android, but it's not been our priority for the last several weeks.
Interesting.
All right. Other questions?
I've been kind of playing with it, Anna, and do you think that people find it intuitive, like the rotation and the sizing and the positioning on the phone?
When we tested, we had several phases. We tested this with students because students are just easy way to find users. But they are not our target audience. So we wanted to, so what we did, we tested out with people in industry. I conducted a UX study with people who live in my apartment complex. So they would be in the category of our target audience. That is something that kind of like tip of or point of advice. Make sure you're testing with your actual or very similar people to your actual users, so you can actually get the real feedback you can implement. With real users, we did not find a lot of times that we needed to educate them on how to use the app. It was to them more intuitive. The few things that we needed to walk them through was we had a few features. It would be like several clicks to get there, and the feedback was, can you make it so I don't have to go 5 clicks to find a button to send this to my friend? Yeah. And that is what we've been working on to make it more easy to locate. The other feedback we got was how pretty much the feedback that we generally focused on, how can I make few things, the major features to be available within fewer clicks. But with the motion on how to move objects, that has not been a major issue, but in the new version that's coming up, we are considering to add this because we're expecting public that is interested in Live AR may not understand Live AR to that level to use the app without any guidance. So we want to make sure guidance is available to the ones who need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other questions? Why don't I go? Do you guys want me to call on you? I can just go one by one. Let's see. Crystal, do you have a question tonight?
I'm actually just playing with the app.
Oh, good.
Honestly, so I'm kind of like intuitive. I mean, I'm very kind of advanced when it comes to phones compared to like my parents.
Well, I know that.
Yeah. So I'm not having a difficult time, but I can see my parents having a difficult time just because I know.
Yeah, like where would you see your parents struggling? Like what would be the feature that they may not understand or not be able to find it?
Yeah,
Or
it would probably be the placement of the actual furniture in a landscape. So knowing three-dimensional value of space and all of that, maybe making that a little bit easier to understand, a tutorial of some sort to just kind of pinpoint certain things that you can do to make it a little bit easier.
okay.
Um, if you're having a hard time to do it, maybe having like a little question mark that you can click on that kind of like just pops out and shows you, oh, this is how you can do it quick and easy.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Was
yeah,
was the plus icon, you think your parents would understand what it means?
let me see. Let me take a picture real quick. Okay.
Right?
So when I thought plus, I thought, yeah, furniture, to add furniture to the space.
Uh-huh.
And then I see furniture that you can click on.
Yep.
And then if you choose something, it gets smaller as you move up and then bigger as you move towards yourself. So scrolling down.
Uh-huh.
So what I don't understand is how to place it. I'm having a hard time, honestly. How to
Well,
place it on the floor directly.
to your picture.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Because you can rotate it. I can see the rotation of it, which is just two thumbs, right? Rotating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to place it without it getting too small to the height that I'm at, how do you place it directly on the floor? Or does it automatically place it on the floor for you?
Yes. So when you take the picture, right? Then you go to the plus icon, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
To add any furniture.
Yeah.
And when it's placed, um, you can move it around within that picture.
And does it change the scale according to that?
Yes. So the algorithm that is running behind the face, it's looking at how it is in relationship to the place where you took the picture.
Okay.
So it's decreasing in size as you're moving furniture away
Away
from
from
you.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have a
How would
question.
you make it more intuitive for your parents?
I don't I wouldn't know exactly how, but so I do know boxes and like perspective and all of that.
Hmm.
They don't. So
Okay.
I can see like the three-dimensional aspect of the actual like product that you're trying to place.
Hmm.
But to somebody who doesn't know, I don't even think they would know the front of the product, the back of the product, or if they've rotated too many times, how it's going to actually lay in their living room or so if you rotate it too many times trying to find out how it goes,
Uh-huh.
you might have the lamp facing into a corner rather than facing you, and you might not even know. Or so how to fix that? I don't really know.
Welcome to my
Yeah, I know.
world, right?
Oh, maybe changing like the face of the actual product, because it has like the box where it was drawn, changing the face of it to a different color rather than all being yellow, so that you have the face always facing you, like it'll change as you go. Do you kind of get it?
No, say it again.
Okay, so the bounding box that it has is yellow.
Uh-huh.
So maybe changing the front face of the lamp to one color so that you can always distinguish where the front of the product is, so that you're not always getting lost if you rotate too much. You can always
Oh,
find the
so you
front.
think like they need to know where it is the front of the product.
Yeah, because for lamps, I mean, it can get tricky. Like you can have like a corner lamp or things like that, where if you rotate too much and you're not tech savvy, you can lose the front and the back. So
That's true.
maybe
Yeah, like with sofas or with bats, it's more like
it's direct because you can sit on it.
yeah.
But and if you can't, then you're doing it wrong. But
Hmm.
for lamps, it can kind of get tricky because I'm messing around with the lamp.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome.
So now I had a couple questions, Anna.
Yeah.
So it seems like I'm just like Crystal. I'm messing around with the app, and I've actually downloaded it a few weeks ago when you sent the original call.
Okay.
And it looks like I have a some sort of like a one of those round barrel chairs in here, and it looks like on the top it's got two styles. It seems like I can touch style one and it switch it on and out between the colors of this that the chair comes in. Does that seem right?
I'm glad I picked you to ask me about that. You clearly have blueprints.
You have some mics on here. So anyway, I was noting that feature, and I wondered, sometimes like when you have multiples of something, maybe they use the little dots underneath to show how many there are or something. I don't know about that.
Items there
Yeah,
are?
like pages, like when there's additional pages, you see the little things. And then the other question I had was like when I touch on the object, to delete it, it has a little red thing on the corner.
Uh-huh.
And I was a little bit curious about the red one to add a thing, but then also the red is to delete.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I wonder about the plus sign. Maybe the plus sign to add one should be green, like go, like more or something.
Uh-huh.
And the delete one is red.
Okay.
I don't know. It just, you know what I'm saying? Just in terms of color coding, it seemed like that was, and I like the little plus. I mean, I kind of was catching on to that.
Okay.
I think too, your target audience is probably, who's going to use this is probably pretty computer savvy.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
it's surprising how people who are using the app and who are following you on social media are very different.
Really?
Yeah.
How funny.
So like for apps, we have actually a very high percentage of male users, and we go to like Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook, it's like more female.
Wow.
So we're still like in this gray area, how to please both.
It's really fascinating, isn't it?
It's hard to find the middle level, but we're trying to find one that both it's cool and tacky for like male users, but at the same time it's easy and intuitive for female users.
Okay. And is the object of this to sell the furniture?
Yes. So we have for users, the goal is to help them visualize an item before they decide what to buy. And for us, it's we're getting sales through different affiliation programs that we have, like with Wayfair and with Amazon right now. So we're putting their items in the app, and people can visualize an item that they can purchase through Wayfair.
I see. And so then you guys get a commission or a percentage.
Exactly.
Sweet. So the main activity here you want me to do is buy this stuff.
Well, that would be awesome.
Gotcha.
But that we really wanted to be in the area where people take augmented reality for practical reasons. There's a lot of AR that is on the fun side, and we're trying to put it in the practical perspective for brands who may not have a physical store to have more engaging communication with their users or with their customers. Like, you don't really go into Amazon store to buy a sofa. And when you see something in the picture, not everyone can picture a big item in their space.
Yeah.
Or you may like it, it might fit your dimensions, but then when you get it, you may say, well, I thought I might have extra space to put a lamp over here, and now I don't have that space. So you might be faced with a problem. Do I keep this item? Do I send it back, this item? And that is where we're coming in with this technology that helps people to make better purchasing decisions and for companies to reduce the number of returns.
I'm having a ton of fun here with this, by the way.
I am glad to hear this.
Okay, so let's go through and see if anybody else has a question. Chad,
Oh.
do you have a question tonight? Anybody? You can chime in if you do.
I see that Paul has another quick question.
Oh, please, yes, go right ahead.
So if Paul would like to type, or hopefully it's a quick one. Oh, well, let's see. I tend to talk a lot, so it might be a quick question, but a long answer.
Funny.
Would you consider a standalone product for PC or Mac computers with current non-AR functionality or full VR functionality? We try to not use VR for this specific product. We use VR for other products. Our company has actually multiple products. Room Remix, it's just one of our products. But for this specific feature, we want to use only AR because VR requires users to buy additional items like goggles or something that you would put, or the cardboard, for example, where you put your phone in to visualize. But it also, the limitation of VR, it's one user only. With this, I can, for example, decorate my apartment and my mom can be standing right next to me, helping me to make decisions. So I can share the screen with people standing around. And also it has the functionality of me sharing my picture that I decorated with digital items with anyone. So you can decorate and then you can text this to me. For example, when I was moving to Minneapolis, I came in to a very empty apartment and I decorated using the app and I sent it to my mom. And she's like, "Oh, I like this, but how about not?" We had a dining set, dining table, and kind of chairs for the dining table, but now we don't really have enough space for it, and we're using our kitchen counter table as our dining area. So that one is like in store at the moment. So we are using AR for its functionality to be able to share with other people without asking them to buy any additional items. So that is why AR, not VR. But we do use VR for other products that make sense why to use VR. So for computers, the way we're working, for you to able to move the object around, you need to send it to your phone. The way we're doing right now, we can, what we do for companies, they send us an item of a piece of furniture, let's say, and then we generate a specific unique button or link for that object. So when you click on that object, you type in phone number, and then this link of this object is sent to that specific phone. You get a text message, you open the text message, and that will get that item from your computer screen to your phone. So we are connecting browser to your phone, but for the ability to move and rotate the item, it has to be within your within the mobile app. Someone has to go. Crystal, it was wonderful to have you for a while. Other questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
Is your app available for like iPads?
Oh yes, you can download for iPad. Yeah.
I tried searching it up and I didn't find it. Maybe it was.
I think you need to switch the feature for apps that are not for what is it? It's not
I see what you mean.
iPad, but it's iPhone app, and then you can download it. Yeah, we actually use iPads because of the larger screen. It's easier to show customers how the app works. Yeah.
Okay.
It is there. Great question. Yes. Would it be okay if I share my screen to show you guys something. I need to find it first.
Yeah, please go right ahead.
So, I have so many things open. It's crazy. I'm the person of like 10,000 tabs. I never close anything because I'm always worried I just forget the way to get there. I think I know how to find it. I just need to go back to, there it is. Okay, so now I just need to share my screen with you. Stop. Perfect. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what I'm showing you now, it's the look of the next version that we are releasing when Apple releases Live AR. And feel free to criticize and give me all kinds of feedback because we still have a few days we can make changes, so that would be great. And this is the interface that we designed, so it's a static image. I cannot move things within my computer screen, but I'll walk you through it. So I'm gonna see if I can make it smaller. There we go. All right. So the first thing is what you'll see when you'll click on the app itself, on the icon. So we have this new background that my designer intern designed. Then you'll get this quick instructions how to use the app, and you guys mentioned this already. I forget your name, I'm sorry. Someone said about my mom will not understand this. So this hopefully will make more sense on you tap, how to rotate, you can use portrait or landscape. And then we are creating more features. So one of the features that we are super excited about it and we are getting a lot of interest in is furniture removal. So you take a picture of a room that might have furniture in it. So you're trying maybe to redecorate your living room, but you cannot put a sofa in there because you already have a sofa there. So you'll be taking pictures of your room, sending the images, we'll remove the furniture and we will send it back to you, your room without the furniture in it. So you can have a, kind of like a white page to place furniture within the app. And then the way it would look like, this could be live or you just took a picture. Both features would be available. And then at the bottom, now you will have categories. Before you were clicking on the plus sign, right? Yeah. So now we are reducing those clicks or tabs. You have right away the categories. For those people who prefer large images, they will have the expand button at the bottom left. So then the images will, I'm gonna scroll like this. They will take the entire screen of your phone or tablet. And then you will have the option, so you select the category, like I'm decorating my office, and then this will kind of be reduced to only the text, and below the text you will see the items within that category. Now this allows you to see both the room where you'll be placing the item at the same time as the item itself. Okay? And you take a picture or you will just click on the item of the furniture to be added to the screen to see a specific chair on your phone. And then you'll get shopping cart, something that we changed the wording. You had right now buy all, and that button was very confusing to many people that we tested the app with. So we are changing to the shopping cart that will be on the top right. Can you guys see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. I wasn't sure. Okay, so it's kind of like Amazon looking, Wayfair looking, something that people already know. You don't need to teach them much. And that would show the number of items you've selected to purchase that are in your shopping cart. And you can click on the shopping cart to either remove them or view this item on your phone. Trying to think. The other feature that we are adding is the click favorites. A lot of people were telling us, can you please give us this feature so we can mark items that we like, so we don't have to go back all the time to look for that item when we want to see maybe this chair with this table, and then we want to see the same chair but with a different table. And then 2 days later, I want to come back to this app and I need to find that chair again. So can you help me to get this shortcut to the items I liked? So we adding the favorites to this. And then the shopping cart will look very similar to other apps. You'll have buy item, you can slide to remove the item. Then if you click on the item, then you see pretty much more information, and you can easily send this information to anyone via social media or as a text message. So this is like for an example of, here's an image that with an empty deck, and you put furniture in it and you select it to share this specific image. So you can save it and then share it with people. So this is kind of like the new look of the app where we're trying to go next. And I'm just kind of curious to hear, what do you guys think of this design? Very different. And then we'll try to figure it out how to get back to chats. There you go. Now I have the chats.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Anna, I think it looks a lot better.
Well, I was hoping to hear that.
Yeah, no, I would say it's a lot more intuitive. I like the shopping cart. I like the favorites. And one of the gals here was saying, Diana was asking about the remove furniture right before you told us that. Yeah, and that whole idea, because I could see myself wanting to favorite things, move it around, and take some time before I really decided what to buy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than not being able to find the item that you were falling in love with. You know?
Yes, I remember, and this is something, I don't know, I'm just curious, like people who are here, are they actually like doing UX like an industry? Like your day job is UX?
Oh, among our students?
Yes, yes.
Generally not, because we're undergrads.
Got it. Okay.
But they're very, very anxious to be doing that.
So something that I struggle, because I work, so there's like 12 of us, and 9 of 12 are developers. So when I come and I say, we need this button, we need this feature, I have 9 people yelling at me that, no, it's not good. Or, why are you moving from left to right? Or they would come develop something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is so confusing. You need to remove it. Or you need to categorize, you need to compact. And that's the challenge, that people know UX, but you need to convince developers to appreciate UX and closely work with you and learn to trust you. So that's just like something I wanted to mention, because I've been fighting over this favorites for at least, I want to say, a month. They did not understand why it was such a big deal.
Oh my God.
So I'm glad to hear that you like that feature. Because
I love
it took me 4 weeks to convince 9 people.
Well, and I think you've incorporated a lot of things that are considered best practices now, like simplifying the interface, keeping things 1 or 2 clicks away, clarifying the text and, you know, and the transparency of the interface are all best practices that are really coming out in a lot of, you know, through a lot of the organizations where they're talking about, you know, what to do in UX. And I think you've done that. So students, who among our students that are on here today, would somebody like to ask a question? June or Paul or Diana, you guys have? Marcus? I'm kind of scrolling through here. If I forget your name, I think Chad's on here. Questions?
I have a question about the market in general.
Sure.
So for iOS, is iOS more of a priority over Android for most of the projects?
For live AR, yes. If you're in virtual reality, then it comes down to your client needs. We are more business to business company. Room Mimics, it's a kind of unique product on its own. We are doing it for public, but we are having requests now from different companies to do like this app just for their items, for example. So if you are in augmented reality, iOS is more appealing to developers, just because Apple is going to release Live AR or AR Kit very soon, in a week or two. So the whole buzz about what is augmented reality and how we can use it and have it more practical uses of adopting augmented reality have been more focused around iOS than Android. For Android, we just have to wait and see whether people who have Android demand live AR, and whether it would be for someone who would be a company to invest to develop that kind of ability or platform for live AR on Android phones, or would it be companies like Apple to release something to developers?
Okay.
But it's pretty expensive. It's a very big investment if a company wants to develop their own augmented reality, virtual reality platform. And we don't like spending millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
a lot of people will be introduced to augmented reality in the next several weeks.
Okay.
Would you see Google following suit to have their own AR or Android devices? I want to say maybe. Live AR is, if you just Google AR Kit, so I don't know how many of you know, I'm going to just type this. If you just look it up, you'll see how hot this term is, or this word, in technology industry. People are excited, they're patiently waiting for it. Nothing has been released, but this would be kind of the focus for the next few weeks for companies like ours that are specialty is augmented reality. But how it will go from, how far it will go from Apple products, we don't know yet, but a lot of people are prognosing that a lot of other companies will be pretty much, if you don't have AR, you will go out of business within several years. So you need to adopt this technology. It's not as expensive as it was years ago, and now it's becoming even less expensive for people and companies. But now you need to engage, and that comes down again to your product and to your audience. If you do want to engage millennials, you need to go with something like augmented reality, virtual reality. We see it on Facebook, we see it on Instagram. Well, it's one company now. I don't know if you guys played with I Love Sephora app, the way they integrate augmented reality. So pretty much almost any business that sells products to customers would need to seriously consider using augmented reality. So kind of long answer to your question, but I would not be very surprised if Google decides to do something on their own. Yeah. Have you used Aurasma? I don't know what Aurasma is.
Our next project is going to be an AR project, actually, with this.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Laura Husinga is going to be a guest, and she has been using AR, and she was using a freeware. Aurasma is a app that you can download for free, and integrate. It'll let you create hotspots, like in either in printed materials or in the environment. And then when you point the phone at that predetermined hotspot, it'll pull up a video or an object or an audio file, something like that.
I'll have to look at that. No, I don't know. The name kind of sounds familiar, but
yeah, I was
on other things for the last several weeks, like this heart favorite.
Right, you've been all on the favorite. I saw her at HCI International, and she was presenting on this, and I was like, "Is this hard?" And she's like, "No, I can show you all about it." And so,
oh, perfect. I'll have to look it up. ARKit is it will depend on who releases, so ARKit is was given by Apple, made it available to developers like our company. So we could use it to develop this software or those features into our products. But when we release the products, then it's up to us whether we want to charge public or no. So AirKit is more of a functionality that would be available within different products or different apps. And we'll release Room Remix for free. So people will be able to experience live AR without cost. That would cost them money. How other companies will do it, I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, we were very excited. We were like, wow. It took us a long time to get here. So now we're just like, today I was working on a demo for clients to demonstrate how we can use live AR with our products. And we're working on that. So it's looking pretty awesome. It's like magic, to be honest. It's funny when you show this, when you talk about it, you get such a neutral reaction from people. But when you show them the demo or you give them your phone that has all those features already on it and they click the buttons, it's like magic to them. They're like, this is my chair, but it's in front of me, but I don't see it there physically, but it's on my phone. It's pretty amazing experience when like a 60-year-old gentleman is reacting to your product like it's Christmas morning.
Exactly. Well, I was thinking about the augmented reality. Every year we have a BA show, so the students have a competition and they're selected to be in the gallery show. And I was sort of excited about the idea of making little gallery tags, name tags for each student, and tagging it with a video of the student talking about the project. So you could go through the gallery and point it at center the element on each name tag and have it pull up that student actually talking and doing stuff. And I thought that might be a kind of a fun AR gallery show, actually. So
it's with live AR, there will be so many opportunities for people to have new experiences and a new way to engage with customers, to get new customers, to make sales, to get more creative. The more I talk about it, the more people give me ideas how they can. Well, could you do an app like this? And I'm like, yes, but will we do it? Probably no. We're so busy with what we have. Like I met a guy who is a lawyer / surgeon. So he defends people on malpractice cases. And he was like, oh my gosh, can you do an app that I can show someone's organs and then move an item that a doctor forgot in their stomach to show to people how this item destroyed some of their organs. And I'm like, why would you need this? He's like, well, when I talk about it, the people on the jury panel, they don't understand. They just conceptually don't get it. So if I get a visual in the form of a game, I can win my cases. Like, can you do that app? So, you know, it's just like a weird example how far can you stretch AR for practical reasons. So pretty much it's a huge tool that will help people to understand very complicated concepts in a very simple visual manner.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's why we're so excited about AR, but well, you guys just need to wait a little bit longer to experience for yourselves.
Well, this is very exciting. Does anyone else have questions about the app, or questions for Anna about her career or her work environment? Any kind of questions? Let's see. Anybody?
Hi. Oh, I think there was one question that came up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, how did you get started with UX?
Company, career, or education?
You do education leading into the career, I guess.
So education was by accident. I'll try to make it super short because it's a pretty long story. But pretty much I was business major in undergrad, and then I did my MBA, and I was teaching business courses at community college when my mom and my sister were at the same time students at Iowa State. One day I met our neighbor who's like, why you're not in grad school when you are in this town? And I'm like, well, I kind of have my MBA. I'm not thinking about more school. And he's like, well, there's like some weird, interesting program here at Iowa State that I have a colleague in my other class. And when he explained what he was studying, it sounded very interesting. I think you should meet him. And that student was, I don't know if you remember Deb, was Mike Oren.
Oh, yes.
Mike Oren was about to graduate PhD in HCI, in human-computer interaction, in UX area. So I met with him for like lunch or something. He showed me around where our office is, VRAC at Iowa State, and it just blew my mind. So I was like, man, I wanna get a degree in this. So I say it was lucky accident for me, lucky time that I met this neighbor who by luck knew Mike, who was in UX. And years later now, he's getting married. Mike, we still stay in touch. And we are both surprised that we're still in UX today. So that was like my education path. And then after that, about 2-3 years ago, when I was pretty close to being done with my school, I started to apply for jobs, and industry, it's really hard to get in, even with PhD. People don't take academic research as work experience. That's an unfortunate truth. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a professor, and I love teaching, and it was something that I was excited about, and I was applying for lots of jobs. So if you guys start applying for jobs, I'll just give you some numbers. I applied for about 250 jobs.
Wow.
That's something else that many people don't know. It's very sad, but unless you know people, I did not know a lot of people. So I was applying for a lot of jobs, and then one that the offer that I got was really good. I negotiated, and it took me about 9 months to negotiate the job. So when I was getting ready to take the job, one of the professors was overhearing my conversation with my colleague that I was talking about moving and accepting the job and negotiating. And he looked at me and he said, have you ever considered startup? And I'm like, no, that was not on my map. I've been focusing on getting a professor or research-focused job. And he said, give me 30 minutes to talk. So we talked, and he introduced me to the company that I'm currently working at. I came to Minneapolis to meet the guys, the founders. We became very good. We clicked right away. And within a day, they said, what would we take? What would you say to become like our like VP in UX? We don't really have a position, but we like you, and we think that you can add a lot of value to this company. So they convinced me to try startup. And I was their first female employee too.
Wow.
So I would say I don't have a very traditional path or history or what typically people say, but my advice would be, from what I know and it happened in my life, you need to network a lot, be it just LinkedIn, be it digital connections or face-to-face. But you need to make networking not a hobby, but your at least part-time job, because people will interview the ones that they know or someone introduced them to. It's just something that it's happening, and I see it happening. Like when I was interviewing people that came from someone that I trusted already. And this is how we're actually building their company. If you come to visit my company, and you ask any of our 12 employees, they will all will have a story. Like, I was introduced by this person, or this person told me about this. So that's just something that keep in mind when you are trying to either change careers or find your dream job.
Thank you.
Very, very long answer again.
No problem.
June, you have a question. How necessary is programming, if any? I would say it depends on what kind of UX angle you are aiming. I am not a programmer, but I say I am not fluent in programming language, but if you talk to me in programming, I can understand. So like if I'm in Italy, I don't speak Italian, but I can get around with directions in my minimum vocabulary. Same thing with me in programming. I can understand, or if you show me something in HTML or Python, C++, I can get the big picture. But if you ask me to program, I will not do it. But that's not the focus of my job. So when we have programmers, developers, they do that. My UX designer, he is not a programmer, and it was not required, and I'm not requiring him to learn programming. But right now, I'm pushing him to learn how to create pretty sophisticated websites. So it's a little bit outside of his comfort zone. So I would say programming will definitely give you, will make you more attractive as a candidate, I would say. But when you actually look closely at job descriptions, you need to understand what would be your primary job responsibility for that position. Would it be you mostly programming, and it's good that you know UX? Or would it be someone else programming and you'll be designing the interfaces, so then you need to know more UX and not as much programming? So would that be okay, June? Or I need to, or is there anything for me to add? I don't know. Are you a programmer? Time to learn programming, I suppose. It never hurts. It never hurts. So the way I work and the way it worked in the program where I got my degree in human-computer interaction was to have people with different skills working on the same project. So you would have one goal, but everyone contributes to that project success in a different manner, right? So we build on your skills. My skills are understanding users, testing the products, and then advertising, building marketing campaigns for those products. So when I come to the meeting and I ask developers to design something, I don't really ask them to brainstorm. I just say, well, we need to have a feature that would allow users to create shortcuts for their favorite items. And then I show them several examples. So it's my job to look at and find different apps that have this feature, and I show them and show them how and where they are within the app. It's funny that since I am one of the two females in the company, pretty much all the major developers have a lot of female apps on their phone because they download to play with the apps like shopping for dresses, shopping for makeup. Their phones look pretty funny because that's where I would point them to go for examples. And also for my designer intern, where I ask him to design the interface of that app or the website. I don't want to recreate a wheel. I want to have our users to see something that they very likely have seen somewhere else. So that is, so programming, if you have time and interest, definitely do it. But if you really want to be perceived and more as a UX designer or as a UX researcher, you just need to know the minimum programming. That would be okay. At least that's how I would look at your resume to hire someone like you. Having a BA design degree, there are a lot of job opportunities for us. There is a need. I see people looking for designers, but you need to look into, so I'm just gonna refer to when I was looking for a designer, I wanted to make sure the person knew several programs or knew how to use like Illustrator or Photoshop. We use XD. So if you guys are into UX, I would highly recommend to download. I think for students, it is free. It's part of Creative Cloud, and I'm gonna type that for you. Creative Cloud UX, sorry, it's XD. Familiarize yourselves with it. There's plenty of free examples, and that's the interface that I showed you. That was created in XD, so my designer intern had to learn this, and he had hours to do so. So that's something I would say if I'm looking for a designer and they have this on the resume that they know how to do it, that would definitely be like points for you. Look at something that, so for designers, definitely I'm looking for your experience. It doesn't have to be like I worked 2 years for a company, but I need to know that you have experience designing a website, designing brochures, or designing marketing material. Now, for example, my designer intern is learning how to do Instagram story ads. So pretty much anything that is on design aspect, I just give them the ideas like design this or have a story on this, and he has to get creative to use it. So I would say if you guys really want to see what my designer is doing, just go to Remix social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you will really quickly spot what my designer intern is doing. You will see it right away. So looks like someone is teaching you XD. This is great. I have my degree in math, track, computer science.
That's me.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to catch up. Okay. Perfect. The other thing that I don't know if Dab mentioned, there's something that I do for my intern. I have several books, but the ones that I recommend are is it 100 Best Things Every Designer Needs to Know by Susan something something.
Could be. I'm not sure.
Do you know that book, Deb?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Amazon because I buy this book all the time as a gift for anyone who is interested in UX.
We want to know.
100 best things every designer needs to know. I think maybe. I know Susan who. I am looking this up as like right now. Okay, so it's called 100 Things Every Designer Needs to Know About People. There's like other series of this book, so I'm gonna paste the link from Amazon so you guys can look it up. But I highly recommend this book to you guys if anyone is interested in UX or I met Susan at one of the conferences years ago, and the way I like she presents research, she takes research knowledge and presents in a very simplified way. And there are different other books that it's in the same series, 100 Things or 100 New Things. And I would say just buy this book. Don't even waste your time on renting. It's not expensive, but it's very, very useful. And it's I have it on my shelf, and I bought it for my intern. And I always say, each week, show me one thing that you learned from this book and how we can use it with our products.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's learning. He didn't have any UX experience, and that was the risk that I had to take with him. So I'm in a way teaching him UX as we go. But he's learning. Yeah, he's learning. But that's a book that I use a lot. And he's using a lot. I see him flipping the pages and reading it when we're in the office. So I would recommend you to consider buying this book. All right. Other questions?
Anything else?
I have another question.
Sure.
In terms of advertising, how do you really go about that? Because I know users don't really like advertising, like pop-ups and things like that. So what do you do in order to get around that type of negative reaction?
Well, let me flip it. What kind of advertising is catchy? Like, would catch your attention?
I usually like the ones that have like, it's kind of like a bar at either the top of the app or the bottom. It's kind of out of the way, but it's still noticeable. I know I see a lot of the ones that do like, it'll pop up, it'll be like full screen, and I have to like press an X in order to exit out of the app. I don't really like those types of apps that kind of like interfere with my experience.
We don't do ads within the app at all.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't do that. The advertisement, I mean, how can a person who's never heard of our app can learn it? Those kind of, and then how we continuously engage with people who have the app. So we do blogs. I have another intern, so she writes a lot. So we do blogging. We are posting different clips. So she is working with my designer intern. If you guys go to Instagram, you will see we take different designer tips and present them as an illustration. For example, you should leave at least 2 inches between your pictures when you put pictures on the wall, for example. And so they work on that idea together. I just gave them the idea, and they are implementing that idea. So that is kind of the advertisement we do. We do mostly like advertisement that is more informational or educational, but not like by the app.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Other questions? Unless Marcus has another question.
Any other questions tonight?
Anything else on app companies, startup environment, or I don't know, education?
Are you a member of any societies, Anna, or any organizations?
Yes. Well, I'm still inside HCI International or Chi,
Yeah.
and then I am a reviewer on several journals. So that's time consuming, but that's how I stay on top of things that are happening that I don't know. That's my personal choice, I would say. So I always look for new ideas from research to bring back to my company. Since I'm not teaching per se this year. And also I am trying to connect with people who are teaching UX or UX community in Minneapolis, Twin Cities. It's been difficult to find that community. I think in California it's much easier from what I hear, since there's a lot of startups over there, a lot of people in technology there. In Minneapolis, it's more challenging. So I'm trying to connect with a lot of people who are teaching UX. I went to a class on UX design, so this was pretty funny. The professor who was teaching UX class, she's teaching it, but she doesn't have a degree in UX, so she's kind of like figuring out what to teach about UX. And when I came in and I gave she asked me to give a lecture on UX, and I came in with a previous version of Room Remix, and I gave SAS scale to students. So I taught them how to do actually UX research. So if you guys are not familiar, SAS score is the one that it's very simple to utilize to kind of give a grade or measure to your product. So I taught them that and how to calculate that and how I designed the survey. So they took the survey, then we went through step by step how I did the survey, what were the questions, why those were my questions, what information, how I would use that information, that would be their answers. And at the end of the lecture, they said that was like the most UX lecture they had in the class. So they are teaching here in Minneapolis, but they don't have experts, I would say, or people who are continuously practicing UX. So it's been really hard for me to find someone, like when I was using for my UX internship, I couldn't really find a person that would have that background, at least from school. Like even saying I took a class on UX and I know something. So it was really, really hard to find. I don't know if, I'm assuming the situation might be different in California, but here it's very difficult to find people who don't only say they know UX, but they know what it means and what they can do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who say they know what UX is and what it means and how to do it, but when it comes down to practical skills in doing research, UX research, you get way fewer people.
Yeah, exactly.
Way fewer. So you guys way ahead of many, many people being in this class.
Oh, thank you.
I would say so. But yeah, I would say if UX is something is very interesting to you, definitely take advantage of classes you can take attend some conferences like CHI or HCI International, that where you would get exposed to UX experts, UX researchers, UX students, UX practitioners, companies, because most big companies have UX groups, but smaller companies don't. So they would say, I want a designer who understands UX. I want a programmer who understands UX. And that is how you can stand out from other candidates when you'd be going for interviews, saying, well, my degree is in design. Like someone was saying, I have a BA in design. But you can say, but I took several classes about UX, so I can blend this in. I can be more of a value to you because I speak additional foreign language in a way. So that would be very, very useful to you in the long term.
I've been presenting and chairing panels at HCII, and panels with Aaron Marcus. Are you familiar with Aaron Marcus?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been chairing panels on more UX for various audiences, so persons with cognitive disability, physical disability, autisms, and things like that. And so we've been chairing that panel with a professor from Leeds Beckett in England. He and I have been working on that. And it's under Aaron Marcus's purview. So, yeah. And interaction research is another place that's kind of cool. And then UXPA. So I've been trying to get the students involved in these organizations to really get a better handle and build that network like you were talking about, Anna.
Oh, absolutely. And always look for internships, even if the internship may not have the keyword UX, but if it's like designer internship or programmer internship, you can apply those skills in your internship. So you can put something on your resume, on your LinkedIn, on your portfolio saying, I did this project and I incorporated UX concepts. Because that's pretty much what you'll be asked during interviews. What did you do? What did you learn? Those are the points. So it will help you to stand out from other candidates.
That's awesome. Well, I suppose I better let you go tonight. I'm keeping the students here very long, but this has been very interesting. Thank you so much for showing Room Remix.
Well, thank you so much.
That's awesome. Anything else anybody wants to add before we go?
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you are very welcome, Marcus. Yeah. Good luck with everything in your life, and to everyone else as well. And to Paul and to Jude. I'm learning your names.
Yes.
I cannot see your faces, so I have no idea how you look like, but I'm assuming you're all handsome and pretty.
Well, we will have about 18 to 20 other students that will be watching Anna, so they will all feel like they know you.
Okay, I'm assuming the rest are real as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Yeah, and like I said, if you guys want to connect with me, please do. I'll be happy to connect if you have any further questions. I'm gonna write my company email. And you can also look me up on LinkedIn, Instagram, what is there, Twitter, and there are other things. So yeah, if there's anything else you have a question or you need advice, like I'm mentoring 2 students about UX careers. So anything I can help you with, let me know.
We will take you up. We will link on LinkedIn and keep in contact. Thank you very much. And I'll say goodnight to everybody. And like I said, we really appreciate it, Anna. Take care.
You are very welcome. Bye, Deb. Bye, everyone.